Hi there. Welcome to Why Story Works episode of So, What's Your Story? Our focus this week is how to avoid death by story. Who here has ever sat through a long, meandering story by that manager or that team member or that beloved aunt or uncle, only to hear them say, to make a long story short? Trust me, whenever somebody says to make a long story short, it never is. Short, that is. What it is death. So today we're going to take you through the 3 key ways to avoid death by story. We'll also take you through ways and reasons why it's important to be a compelling storyteller. With so much going on right now, you can't afford not to be an engaging storyteller because our stories are the only true differentiator any one of us has. It's our secret sauce. It's the thing that enables us and our company and our values to stand out and be heard above the noise. So, the 3 key ways to avoid death by story. Number 1, be real. And what I mean by that is be authentically yourself. For years, as a corporate trainer, I'd get these evaluations from participants and they'd say, great energy, loved it. And then I'd sit down with one-on-ones with my manager and I'd hear, you really do need to work on your executive presence. And I'd think, well, what do you want me to be? Energetic or have this executive presence? And the answer is both. So to be real, figure out what it is that is part of your secret sauce and then adjust it to the audience. In other words, you might say it a little differently to the C-suite than how you might speak to the frontline employees. So number 1 tip for how to avoid death by story, be real. Number 2 tip for how to avoid death by story, be relevant. So yes, it's true. We are in the midst of the greatest story that's never been told before. And as a facilitator and a storyteller, if you are not addressing what is happening in the world around you, you will come off as uninformed, inauthentic, and out of touch. And the 3rd tip for how to avoid death by story is be brief. One of my favorite authors, Dr. John Medina, in his legendary book, Brain Rules, states that the brain does not pay attention to boring things. So, in order to be brief, keep your stories to about 2 to 3 minutes max, and have no more than about 3 stories in one main topic. Thread it together to be about 9 minutes max before you change it up, because the brain does not pay attention to boring things. So to recap, in order to avoid death by story, be real, be relevant, be brief. That's my story.